Greetings all! Today, we will be examining the relatively uncommon grass-type Pokemon Tangela and its rare evolution Tangrowth, collectively known as the Vine Pokémon. The complete physical makeup of Tangela and Tangrowth is still not well understood due to the rapid decay of their tissues upon death and their general reluctance to show their full bodies to others. But what is known is that their main bodies consist of a black root base that contains a large node of tissue that serves as both the site of their central nervous systems and the place where they produce spores for reproduction. The main root body feeds into a pair of red root bases at the bottom of their forms that can not only be planted into the ground to acquire nutrition and water from the soil as a normal plant would, but can also detach from the ground and be used as feet for mobility, as the root base's ends retract into the body of these feet when Tangela and Tangrowth are in motion. They additionally possess a pair of photoreceptors on their main body that are surprisingly large and can enable them to see their surroundings with great effectiveness, even to the point of possessing color vision, which is a rare thing to see among plant-based Pokemon. Their main root body is covered in a thick tangle of blue, vine-like growths that serve as both a form of protection and as their primary manipulating appendages and the source for many of their vine-based and binding attacks. In comparing Tangela and Tangrowth, it can be said that both share a very similar body form. The primary differences between the two are that Tangrowth are much larger in size and actually have two different types of organic appendages, namely the small ones that coat their bodies and the pair of large red-tipped ones they use as their primary limbs for grasping and striking objects. Females of the species can be differentiated from males by this coloration, as it extends the entire length of the 3 digits on these appendages, while the red coloration only covers the tips in males. Although their physical forms may seem incredibly odd, Tangela and Tangrowth are indeed plants, though of a variety more highly evolved than most other plant-based Pokemon. The seaweed-like vines that cover their bodies are actually plant growths infused with photosynthetic cells and tissues that are responsive to electrical signals. While this is a bit anatomically crude by human standards, it's an arrangement that works well for these creatures, as each individual vine-like growth can be manipulated independently with surprising precision, acting very much like limbs for these creatures. Thankfully, because of this simple physical structure, these growths can be regenerated within a day if they are damaged or cut from their body, which, combined with the photosynthetic cells infused with them, is what allow these creatures to possess chlorophyll and leaf guard as base abilities and regenerator as their hidden ability. Moreover, the growths are coated in sensory hairs that can detect subtle changes in air currents in order to detect approaching predators, though they can equally be used to tickle and unnerve anything that comes into contact with them. While the growths do not provide much in the form of physical power in the case of Tangela, they are still able to use them to effectively deliver powerful special attacks, and they provide them with a strong defensive shield that grants them a surprisingly high base defense stat for a grass type, though their gelatinous interiors are vulnerable to chemically induced deterioration and are thus poor barriers against special attacks. Tangrowth, on the other hand, which are effectively a genetic ancestral evolution only brought into existence through the power of the bizarre ancient power attack, possess much thicker, sturdier growths that are strong enough to smack around opponents physically, with their base attack stat nearly doubling in evolution and their overall stats increasing across the board, minus their base speed stat, which drops slightly as a result of their larger size and weighing nearly 4 times as much as their pre-evolved form. As far as their stats go as a whole, while Tangrowth have lower than average base special defense and speed stats for a fully evolved grass-type Pokemon, all of their other stats are well above average for a fully evolved Pokemon of their type, with their physical defenses being particularly strong and having access to powerful offenses both physical and special in nature, overall having the highest base stat total out of all non-legendary grass-type Pokemon. As such, while strong special attacks might be able to defeat them easily, Tangrowth are otherwise imposing creatures that can take quite a physical beating and more than deal devastating damage both from afar and in close quarters, easily making their presence known on any battlefield. With Tangela, there isn't much more to say about their physical form outside of what has already been outlined, but there are a few interesting attributes of their form and behavior that are worth noting. For one thing, because their vine growths are very fluid in their motions, the entire mass covering their main body tends to shake as these creatures walk, unnerving creatures that gaze upon them as they move and making them wary of stepping too close to them. While their vines can grab a hold of objects and grasp them quite strongly, if they are pulled even moderately hard, the vines will readily detach from their bodies. Since there are no pain receptors inside of these growths though, this is a painless act, and Tangela will often use this as an opportunity to escape while their attacker is distracted by their detached vine growths. Tangela will further attempt to annoy their targets and distract them by wildly and constantly moving their vines, entangling them completely and bringing them close in order to douse them with a dose of sleep powder, poison powder, or stun spore to hurt and potentially immobilize them. If ensnared by a Tangela, however, there is a way to escape their clutches. As odd as it may seem, because their vines contain a great deal of organic sensory equipment, they can be prone to overstimulation if constant contact is made with them. In other words, Tangela are very ticklish, and overstimulating them can cause them to temporarily lose control of their bodies as they try to process all of the sensory information flooding into their nervous system, providing an opportunity to escape their hold or potentially counterattack them. While Tangela are normally incapable of evolution, this was not always the case in ancient times, as they did have an ancient evolution that was plentiful in times long before the rise of mankind. However, it seems that changing environmental conditions resulted in the extinction of Tangela that could naturally evolve without the need for special circumstances, leaving only simple, normally non-evolving Tangela around as a result. Despite the apparent extinction of this ancient race of Tangela, there remains a link to their ancient evolved form in their biology, manifested in their capacity to learn the abnormal ancient power attack at moderately high experience levels. It is unknown exactly how this power works, but it seems to be a manifestation of their ancient heritage in energy form, and if they are allowed to be exposed to this power through their own learning and use of the move, it can trigger a mutation in their bodies that then facilitates their evolution into their ancient evolution, Tangrowth. While this does not change their natural move pool that much, their increased size allows them to more effectively use their bodies as living barriers in battle, granting them access to the block technique and the ability to learn a host of moves from TMs like Earthquake that Tangela normally cannot learn. Moreover, their specialized three-fingered arm appendages can strike with such incredible power that they grant Tangrowth access to the most powerful Power Whip attack out of all Pokemon. Their vines share all of the same sensory structures as those in Tangela, so they are virtually identical in that regard. But it is noted that the vine growths of Tangrowth are much more effective in processing sunlight and maintaining warm internal temperatures. While this means they can generally dwell in cooler, darker environments than Tangela can occupy, it can become a problem in the summer months, as their body vines can grow so thick that they blind Tangrowth and make it impossible to see without the help of another life form to trim them. It is lastly noted that, unlike Tangela, which acquire all of their energy through the same photosynthetic processes utilized by other plants, Tangrowth are actually predatory in nature, and use their vines to ensnare other life forms before using their Giga Drain attack to completely drain the energy from their victims. They will often stand still and look like and pretend to be a large bush until a suitable prey item approaches them, at which point they will extend their primary appendages and ensnare the prey. At that point, there is almost no way to escape their grasp, as their bulky bodies are not so easily overstimulated like those of Tangela. Thankfully, there are no recorded cases of Tangrowth going after prey as large as humans, but it nonetheless can make them a severe danger if one is traveling with smaller Pokemon that are the perfect size for a quick snack from their perspective. While they might not have the appearance of something that might otherwise be thought of as a grass type, Tangela and Tangrowth are unique creatures that can definitely prove to be a suitable challenge against physically gifted opponents. The circumstances required to get them into a fully evolved state may be a bit odd, but with these bulky plants at one side, only special offenses will have a chance of penetrating through their otherwise massive and imposing frames and pose a significant threat to one's team. Of course, if you're just looking for a friend to cuddle with, having one of these fierce flora around might not be a bad idea. Just try not to tickle them too much, as while Tangela might not be able to do much about it, you may end up regretting your decision if your Tangrowth responds by accidentally sending you sailing across the house with a playful smack. Thank you all for watching this video. It is always an honor to be able to speak with you all on the subject of Pokemon in a way that brings me great joy and happiness in my work. If you would like to keep tabs on past and future work, click that subscribe button, check out my work on DeviantArt, and don't be shy about following me on Twitter, where you can find pertinent announcements on upcoming work before it is officially posted. Links to both can be found in the video description. If you would like to support my work and help Miguel and I continue to produce more content for you and improve upon our presentation, please visit us at my Patreon page, which you can also find a link to in the video description.
Yeah, no.
With that, I thank you for watching and I wish you well.